Good afternoon, and what is a cool, grey and overcast day. It is Saturday the 28th of January. Got a nice hot cup of tea. And a box to unbox. So let's get to it. Okay, well I've got a parcel within a parcel. So let's pull that out. And inside I've got a couple of books here. The first one I'm going to pull out is this, which is Wicked Fate. John Wick's Wicked Fantasy comes to Fate Core. Now this is from Magpie Games, and it's powered by Fate, which is the kind of narrative-driven aspect focused role-playing game published by Evil Hat Games. And the question is, what's Wicked Fantasy? Well, Wicked Fantasy is a setting, I think it was for Dungeons and Dragons edition 3.5 that John Wick created essentially as, in answer to the question, how would he write an epic fantasy role-playing setting for Dungeons and Dragons, which I do have a copy of, and I did track down. Took a bit of effort though. So, and he even supported it with sort of like videos and so on, and gave it his idiosyncratic feel all the way throughout. So, fantasy adventure powered by fate. The reign of men faces an age of change. Will it find a new path or fall to ruin? Only the heroes of Estovir can decide. And actually, sorry, I'm corrected here, because in 2013, John Wick reinvented 10 classic fantasy races through the world of Estovir, a unique Pathfinder, so not Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 setting that broke Kickstarter records and expanded what it meant to play elves, humans, orcs, gnomes, kobolds, and more. Now, Magpie Games brings you a full Fate Core conversion for that world, allowing players and GMs to explore Estovir using the award-winning Fate Core system for the first time. Wicked Fate is a fantasy supplement for Fate Core that gives you all you need to bring the world of Estovir to life, including a complete introduction to the world of Estovir, a land of conflict, filled with opportunities to define the coming age. Fate Core templates for John Wick's reinvention of 10 fantasy races, including elves, orcs, gnolls, kobolds, and more. Dozens of new aspects and stunts that bring the reimagined races to life in Fate Core beyond racial bonuses or feats. Dozens of new aspects and stunts that bring... a modified skill list for fantasy adventuring in Estovir that includes command and additional social skill for Fate Core. A new magic system for Fate Core that allows players to create custom effects on the fly without spell lists or mana pools. Wicked Fate requires 3 to 5 players, some fake dice, a few tokens, and the Fate Core system, available free online to play. So let's have a look inside. Okay. So if it's 2013, if I can find my copy of Fate of Wicked Fantasy, that might well be an interesting one to do a retrospective of, because it's 10 years now. So here we have an introduction explaining what Wicked Fate is, and how to use the book if you're a book player and also the game master. Before we get into Estovir, a land of magic and mystery. And of course, that goes without saying, because essentially, if you didn't have the land of magic and mystery, probably you wouldn't want to roleplay there. So essentially, we're going to start with the history of the setting with the reign of men, and the cities of that reign. With a nice illustration at the top there. So we've got quick coverage of essentially a couple of paragraphs devoted to each of the cities to give them a bit of flavour, a bit of content, detail. Other areas of Estovir. So no map so far, so I'm hoping to find one in a moment as we go through the geography of the setting. So no, okay. Then we have the inhabitants of Estovir, so looking at the different races: humans, Haffons, orcs, slightly different spelling. So then, you have these are orcs with a K. Haffons could be halflings, or could be not, or something like them. Elves, the equivalent of gnolls, gnomes, goblins, At Uvandir, Rodan Kuba Chubisi. Obviously, not illustrated here, so you can't like which are which. It's difficult to say. You could like work out what they are from the illustration on the front. Mechanics to Wicked Fantasy. This is playing Wicked Fate. Basic rules reminder: using the Fate dice, how to create a character, choosing a race, so on, going through the different steps. Picking the core aspects, which ultimately will drive your character and define who or she is. List the skills. Usually, generally in Fate, you have a very limited pool of skills, which are presented in a pyramid. Ranging from sort of like +4 to +1. Magic skills. And then we have a sample character there. So you can see the skills on the pyramid list there, and the aspects. Explanation of magic. Characters, elemental magic. And we've got these examples here at the back, clearly marked, easy to read. They're a bit. I mean, my comment would be they're a little bit smaller than the main text, but nevertheless, they are there. They're quite prolific, and again, I always appreciate a good example. So different types of magic, elemental magic, basically drawn from the will. Basically a new action discover, which allows you to get information. Conditions and consequences. Dealing with wealth and money. It's all in there. And then we look at the different races or species in a bit more detail. So humans. So several pages devoted to that. Then this is the reign of men. We've got the organisations. So the Shadow Hand, Mystery Cult of Makers. And then got a basic racial template on which to build your character from and build NPCs from. And we sort of like atypical aspects, and also racial aspects. So essentially, these are typical of humans in the setting, but you do not have to adhere to them. And again, you've got quite a list of these for the different species. So I'm going to do the same for Halflings. Interesting, Halfling ghosts, people in service, people with secrets, and you have the template and the different aspects and so on, and stunts, and they're all associated with Halflings. And it's going to do that again with each of the races. So I'm just going to show you, orcs. I'm going to show you basically the main pages just to get you show you what they look like, rather than showing you sort of like individual sections. The orcs is like 6 tribes, 1 people. So you've got plenty of background and details on each of the species in the Wicked Fantasy setting here. Elves. I've got notes on the Dark Elves as well. The Dachiun, or Gnolls. Gnomes, Tamers of the Wild. Goblin, unlucky tricksters, which makes a nice change because most tricksters tend to be lucky. That's the, and you can see them here, actually, playing a game, attempting to gamble, and it not necessarily going very well. Uvander, Men of Stone. So these are the dwarves of the setting. Rodon, the scourge of the city. So you've got a mice, like a mouse or rat species. 2. You have the Cuba Chibusi, the invisible allies. So they're kind of mysterious. And here you have actually sort of like the image of someone removing one of those masks. And so on. And then you've got the GM toolkit for running Wicked Fate. This is relatively short. But yeah, it's dealing with some of the themes. So, so we do start off with, how to start your game, picking issues, choosing a setting, and here is a discussion of the themes in particular. And there is a discussion of safety there, but we're dealing with things like corruption, warlords calling, exploration, oppression, struggle, and so on. And at the end we do actually have maps of Estavir. So there are some maps, hopefully, I was hoping to see some maps. There we go. And then we've got the Reign of Men, the primary setting, and then character sheet at the end. So yeah, that is Wicked Fate, published by Magpie Games. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, do please click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. We'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.